What's up, everybody? It's Matt from TallyTCG, and yeah, we are back from collectacon in Atlanta. We're going to do a quick recap, what we did, what we learned, what we sold, all that good stuff, and then I'll be posting pictures later this week of all the stuff that we picked up. So I hope y'all enjoy this. Collectacon was awesome. We had so much fun. It was a very short drive. It was only 4.5 hours from where we are up to Atlanta, and it was a very, very smooth drive. We got in right around 2 o'clock, parked the car, got checked into our hotel room immediately. Once we got checked in, we unpacked all of our stuff and actually went across the street to the aquarium. If you've never been to the Atlanta Aquarium, I highly recommend it. If you're not an aquarium person, okay, cool. Anyway, once we got done with that, came back and laid out everything that we had and did a fresh collector list. We used collector to help keep track of what we have, a rough estimate on market value, and I'm going to tell you why later on. Once we had that done, went downstairs, met up with a couple people that wanted to pick up some Mega Dream off of us. We took about an entire case of Mega Dream. Mega Dream is freaking hot and popular right now because of those guaranteed hits. And yeah, I mean, I love ripping it too. And then that was it for night one. Went to the bar, grabbed some drinks, met with some people, talked to them, chit-chatted, had dinner, went back to the room, got some sleep. Next morning, got up, went down to the convention, got our tickets, got our t-shirts, all that good swag that we paid extra for, and went in. And the first thing that we did is we did a lap around the perimeter. Okay, I didn't walk straight up to the first big table, mainly because I wanted to get eyes on the whole convention, see kind of what people were talking about, read their display banners, and everything like that, because I'm looking for the best deals, right? We've got a couple $1,000s worth of raw inventory, and we're looking to sell that. We're looking to trade that. We're wanting to pick up some graded stuff, and so I'm just kind of getting eyes on things. Last year when we went to collectacon, it was like 95% Pokemon, and you had a little bit of One Piece, a little bit of Magic the Gathering, and a little bit of sports mixed in there in between. This year, I would say damn near every table had One Piece. It was honestly about 50%. I would say it was about somewhere around 50-50 Pokemon to One Piece, and there was like 1 or 2 tables that had Magic the Gathering, and that was it. It was wild seeing that much One Piece, and the price on some of those cards is absolutely ridiculous. Just damn. Anyway, we did our big lap, and we stopped at tables along the way to kind of see what they had, and it wasn't until we got to the far back corner. Okay, we started at one corner, we walked all the way to the other corners, we walked half the freaking show, until the first table said, "Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Is there anything we can help you with?" We walked half the show before the first table greeted us. We're going to get into that. Talked to him for a few minutes, and then walked around the other way. Went over, looked at Logan Paul's Pikachu Illustrator Rare. I didn't get my picture taken with it, but I did walk up there and look at it. And yeah, there's no way in hell that thing's a fucking 10. I'm not going to get deep into that. Anyway, then I started like walking down through the middle and did a couple little up and downs, kind of looking out the inside. And the first place that we went is we went right back to the far back corner where that group of people greeted us when we walked up the table. At there, they actually pulled somebody over from another table who really, really likes Japanese stuff, because the vast majority of what we took was Japanese. A little bit of it was vintage English from like collections we had picked up. And they ended up clearing out a good amount of our stuff. And then we told them what we were doing. And then they pointed us towards another table that was actually trading raw cards, or you could trade in raw cards and get 100% trade value towards graded inventory. And so we ended up picking up about $1,200 worth of graded cards off that table. And at this point, you know, it's about noon, and we've got $600 in cash sales, and we've got $1,200 worth of graded inventory. I will go in later this week and show you like the full breakdown of the sales and stuff. And we just kind of walked. We talked to people, picked up some merch here and there because we're also buying. And it's, you know, it was a good time. One of the big things is I would kind of see based off people's prices on their sealed inventory, kind of what kind of seller they were. And so when I say that, like, don't think I'm like talking bad about anybody, but I use kind of the Charizard UPC as a guideline. So everybody knows market value on that thing is, it bounces between 140, 150 and everything. It's readily available. Okay. I walk into stores and see it all the time. And if you really are desperate enough to get one, you can go to GameStop and get ripped off for $200. Don't buy stuff from GameStop, guys. Fuck those guys. Anyway, the vast majority of tables had it listed for $150. And when I say the vast majority, is like if I saw one of these, 90% of the time it was at $150. Once or twice I saw it above there, and then I kind of looked at everything else they had, and it was probably 10, 20% above market value. And then everybody else was like at 140, wanting to get rid of it. Yeah, don't blame you. You probably snagged it when it first came out, and you want to get out from underneath it. One thing to remember, if that card is out there for sale, that vendor should be willing to take a little bit less for what they have stickered at. If they don't want to come off that price, walk away. And I did that a couple times. Don't be afraid to walk away. Just like as a vendor can sit there and say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. You as the buyer have every right to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay that price. Now, I'm not saying that if they've got $100 on there and you say, hey, I'll give you 50 for it, and they say no, okay, that's probably on your end. Okay, but if they got $100 on it, you say, will you take 90? Yeah, they probably will. Okay, it's for sale. And majority of vendors realize that, hey, you need to be willing to take a little bit less for everything that you've got out there. That's one of the big things that I've learned. It's one of the things I've learned from talking to so many vendors. Is like, yeah, you got to be willing to negotiate. You can't sit there and say, no, that price is the price. And it might not be a popular opinion, but hey, I don't care. So we had a good time on day one. Went and met up with some people and everything like that. We were also helping a buddy of ours hunt down a specific card. And they gave us some cash to try to buy as many of this one card as possible. And yeah, I'll show you what all we picked up for him later on. And day one was pretty good. Rested, took a nap, went back down for dinner later on in the bar. And we actually were sitting with a group of vendors. And so that was really cool because we got to hang out with them for a little while and learn what it's like from their side and how the show was going. And one of the big things that we learned is if you were vending at collectacon and you wanted any kind of special treatment, you wanted to be near the front. Last year, you had to buy at least 10 tables. So this year, you had to buy at least 20. And so I'm not going to get into that because I don't know, we've never vended a show. But damn, yeah, I can kind of see why that would suck. You had to buy twice as many tables as you did last year. And that was their big complaint about it. Go into day two, one of the first tables we stopped at was actually their table. And they looked over what we had left, and we didn't really have a whole lot left. The first day we went in there with 3 binders full of raw cards. And day two, we go in there with just a small binder. Like when I say a small binder, like maybe 30 cards. It was our most expensive stuff. And a lot of people were kind of hesitant on it because it was a lot of really expensive cards, both Japanese and vintage English. And when it was all said and done, you know, we went in there with, I'd have to go back and double check the collector because I printed it out before we left. But we went in there with about $4,800 worth of raw singles. We left with cash, about $900. On Cash App, we had about another $1,000, $2,000 worth of graded cards, and we still have some stuff left over. So it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. We didn't liquidate everything, and that's fine. We've got a small show coming up, and that'll just go in the display case. But we learned a lot, and we had a lot of fun, and we got to talk to people, and we got to learn, okay? Because that's one of the things. Whether you're vending at shows or you're doing online retail like we do, you never stop learning. I have conversations with our guys in Japan like almost every day. One of the big things is last night we sold out of Glory of Team Rocket. Okay. Somebody from New York bought the last 2 boxes. They bought a bunch of other stuff too, but this is going out to them later today. And I was like, okay, cool. We need to go ahead and reorder that. And the price in Japan right now is stupid high on Glory of Team Rocket. And they're like, oh, I can cut you this much of a deal. And I'm like, well, if it's not below English market, and then the tariff on top, it's not worth it. So mainly because they haven't done a major reprint of Glory of Team Rocket. Full disclosure, yeah, it's like stupid expensive. Okay, when I looked at it, it was like double market value to get a box of it stateside. It's like almost right there with English 151, and I quit ordering 151 as soon as it started costing us $150 a box. Okay, now you're going into 2026, and Japanese 151's market value is somewhere around like $220 a box, and it would cost me $250 to get it stateside, just like Glory of Team Rocket. It is absolutely wild right now. And that price I verified with like 6 other people that we can source cards from in Japan, and they were all around the same price, up or down like maybe $5-6. And they're all saying, yeah, we haven't had a major reprint of it yet. Anyway, we kind of got off subject there and everything. I'm going to post up pictures later this week of all the cool stuff that we saw and some of our trades and everything like that. And I hope y'all have a fun time. I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch you later on. See ya.